guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story, or a post if you will, titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to be a godfather / legal guardian for my friend's baby without a DNA test? And guys, this story, it's about a guy, he's 26, and he's talking about his buddy's future child. His best friend is 26 as well. They've been friends since they were 8 years old. And his friend's girlfriend or wife, I forget which one it is, who's expecting a child, let's just say she's not exactly the most trustworthy of women. Okay? This guy doesn't trust her any further than he can throw her. She's always telling lies about things. This guy's own girlfriend doesn't trust her. And essentially, he doesn't want to take the role as the godfather, but more importantly, a legal guardian of this child without a DNA test proving that this is, in fact, this guy's child. Okay, because that's how much he doesn't trust this woman. And you're going to see in the story, guys, that obviously he's made up to be the bad guy in this situation because of him standing his ground there. And I thought it'd be a good one to cover, guys, because I talk about so many times in these stories how, as crazy as it sounds, nowadays almost a DNA test seems like it's almost mandatory with the amount of cheating going on and guys finding out that their kid isn't theirs and that type of awful stuff. But I've never heard someone say, I'm not going to be a legal guardian unless I know flat out this is your kid and not just some the FedEx or UPS driver that's been hooking up with your girlfriend. All right? So I'm going to go through this, guys. That'll be a pretty good one here. And it's for you guys out there that they enjoy this type of thing. But also, if you're going to take a legal guardianship, you need to know these things. And this guy's obviously wondering if he's the jerk in the situation. So, starts off, he says here, weird title, weirder situation. So my 26-year-old best friend, Derek, we've been friends since we were 8 years old. Due to some family issues, he lived with my family during high school and college. My parents call him their bonus kid, and we were basically brothers at this point. So I really don't trust his girlfriend of 3 years, Nicole, a 25-year-old female. She has always given me the bad vibes. She lies about little things for no reason. Unfortunately, her and Derek have a lot of similar experiences and hobbies. And he is head over heels for her. I've always been respectful to her, but I'm always looking out for Derek. My girl thinks he's blind with love. So this guy can see problems with this girl, right? The best friend can see issues here. But as he describes his friend, he is head over heels for her and has his own girlfriend says blind with love. So what's the problem when guys are head over heels for their girl or blind for love? Means they're blind for everything else going on. They just don't want to see it. They don't see it. And so as you can see here, he just sees a lot of issues with her. Now, a good friend would be pointing these things out to another bro, but it is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If you don't point out these things, these red flags to your bro, he could suffer and be impacted by her. Or if you do say something, he's going to hate you for, talking about his girl like that. That could end the friendship. So it's a tough situation, but a good friend will always speak up and all that, even if it's tough. Anyhow, he says, so Nicole, this guy's girlfriend, is now 8 months pregnant. Derek comes to me asking me to be the godfather / legal guardian. Derek works a dangerous job, so it wouldn't be crazy for something to happen to him. Nicole was on board with this too. I told him that I would do that as long as he gets a DNA test done first. Can you imagine this guy's shock when he said that? Because it's pretty much saying, I don't trust your girlfriend. He was shocked and asked why. About 7 months ago, Derek and Nicole broke up for a couple days. She claimed nothing happened with anyone, that she just sat at home and cried. But why not make sure? Why would it be an issue if she has nothing to hide? But my biggest reason is what Nicole did with her sister. So Nicole's sister has a kid, claimed that her boyfriend was the dad. He wasn't, and she knew he wasn't. Nicole had lied straight to her sister's boyfriend for years. Nicole knew the whole time that her niece wasn't his kid. Eventually, it came out. The dude left and Nicole blamed the ex-boyfriend for not loving his kid regardless. Yeah, I forgot to mention in the beginning, his buddy's girlfriend knew that her sister cheated and the child that her boyfriend was raising wasn't his child, and she kept it quiet the whole time. Again, these are things that say a lot about her. So if this is what her sister does, you can't rule out that she wouldn't do the same thing. And again, some people, I remember in the comments say, oh, well, it's no big deal if you're the godfather, but this isn't just godfather, this is legal guardian. And he says his friend works a dangerous job. He doesn't want to be on the hook raising this kid who's not his buddy's child, biological child. Or if something happens to his buddy, he's there stuck helping out and dealing with her, right? Because it would happen that way. Anyhow, he says here, Nicole knew the whole time that her niece wasn't his kid. Eventually it came out. The dude left and Nicole blamed the ex for not loving his kid regardless. I told her that it wasn't his kid and she knew it. When I called Nicole out, she said it wasn't her place to tell him. Bullshit. Ever since, I've kept at arm's length and would rather Derek break up with her. Me and Derek have had deep talks about that, but he just defends Nicole's actions. I asked him straight up if the kid wasn't his, what would he stick around? And he said no. Imagine that. He's only staying with her apparently because of the kid. And call me crazy, but I've heard plenty of stories that I'm sure you all have heard where guys stick around with the gal just because she's pregnant, and it's a miserable situation. They wouldn't be with her otherwise. Now you can be, if this is indeed your child, you are responsible for that child, don't get me wrong, paying for it and all, but to actually get into a relationship or get married or stay with that person just purely because of the child, even though you're miserable with that person, and that person is deceitful and a cheater amongst many other things, that's just crazy. But people don't know any better. They think it's a time of our grandparents when they did that type of thing, which, by the way, they were miserable too. He says, hence my pushing for a DNA test. Derek blew up at me, saying I was forcing him into something he doesn't want. I'm not helping raise some other dude's kid, and that if the DNA test is such an issue, then pick someone else to be the godfather. And he can just tell Nicole I'm the one pushing for this, and the blame can be on me. My parents are calling me an a-hole. My girlfriend agrees that every kid should be given a DNA test at the hospital at birth to avoid issues, and we don't understand why that isn't a law. She is on my side with everything. Am I the a-hole? Well, in my opinion, no. And I'm sure most of the people watching this will say the same thing, that no, he's not the a-hole. But in our society, of course, they'll make him out to be the bad guy here. But again, this isn't a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation with his bro. And again, the guy's asking to be the godfather, legal guardian. Now, godfather, no big deal because there's no obligation, depending on your religion. But legal guardian, yeah, that's a different thing. So you can either say, in my opinion, hey, either you do this and show me this is indeed your child, biological child, or I'm not going to be a legal guardian. End of story. But it sounds to me no matter what, he's screwed at this point. So now I'm going to read a few comments here to show I'm not alone. But I told you guys this was unique. I've never had this before with somebody insisting on a paternity test or DNA test just about being a guardian. It's interesting. One guy says, you're not just being asked to be the kid's godfather, which doesn't really have any legal status. You're being asked to take legal responsibility for the kid if something should happen to Derek, right? Not the a-hole. That's totally your decision. You're not pushing Derek to do anything by putting a condition on your decision, and especially given Nicole's history. I'm right there with you, thinking a DNA test is in order, but that's Derek's decision. He can either accept your conditions for wanting to take legal responsibility for the kid or find someone else. Exactly. These are your terms. End of story. He should be happy that you'd be willing to, even in the first place, be willing to take such a burden on. I mean, that's not just some small thing, agreeing to be a legal guardian of somebody else's child. Think about it. Another guy says, not the a-hole. You have a right to express your doubts and aren't outright forcing them into anything. If they don't want to take the DNA test, they'll just find someone else. And I assume it doesn't mean that you'll be staying involved as the child's uncle. Becoming the child's legal guardian, if anything happens to your brother or his girlfriend, means taking a lot of responsibility, financial and emotional, so you have the right to ask for all the information before making a decision. And if they're not okay with that, that's their problem. You shouldn't be put in a position of discomfort or doubt because of pressure from others. Exactly. People generally, what their gut tells them and they do, this is the right decision. That's my experience and opinion. Another guy says, not the a-hole. You just lay down your conditions before accepting a big responsibility, and given the history of the girl, you don't have to blame yourself for it. Right. And remember, he asked his friend again, if she wasn't pregnant and wasn't expecting a child in a month, would you be with her? And the guy said no. So that says everything. But this guy, remember in the beginning, said that he's blind with love and he's smitten with her and all that shit. That's what happens. These guys, they get that gal who they think is probably beautiful and all that, and they won't see things. They won't see reality. Until they suffer enough, they're not going to see reality. And the last one, the guy says, not the a-hole. If it were just a godparent type of role, I might feel differently. But asking you to take on a legal guardianship makes this a different ballgame. Having all the information before signing any legal document is a smart move. If Derek and Nicole won't comply, then don't move forward with the plan. Besides, sounds like there might be a dad who can come in and fight for custody at any time. There you go. And now one more, someone actually saying he is the a-hole, because you're going to have some of those. This person says, you are the a-hole. I know I'm going against the grain, but hear me out. This is your issue, not Derek's. You're asking him to do something he clearly doesn't want to, and it isn't really your place. That's on him 100%. If he believes this is his kid, knowing everything he knows, then that's his choice. Plus, I kind of get the sneaky suspicion that you're pushing for this because you want the girlfriend gone, and this would get it done for you. Well, this actually is his issue, because if he's making the choice to be legal guardian and signing documents, that's going to impact him. So therefore, he has a right to have conditions. I want to find out this is his biological child, end of story. So this person here calling him the a-hole and saying it's not a big deal and it's not your choice to make, that's bullshit. He has every right to. He's just doing the rare thing that guys don't do very much, by actually standing his ground, laying out terms and sticking by them. Because our society just wants men to cave all the time and just go along with things to be nice or some BS like that. But he has every right here. But anyhow, guys, it's a quick one, but I thought it'd be a good one. Something different, because I've yet to see an article or story or post about a guy pretty much laying down the terms, I want a DNA test, I want a paternity test over legal guardianship, as opposed to just a guy wanting to find out if it's his kid or not. But again, sadly, you guys that watch me quite often have seen so many stories where guys, they raise the child, the kids are sometimes teenagers, and they find out the kid isn't there. I mean, it's terrible, but it's almost like it should almost become mandatory now for the testing, just to make sure. But there's so many guys out there that just simply would never have the balls to do it. These are usually the same type of guys that would never have the balls to have a prenup signed before they got married, and prenup done in the right way that can protect them, not just something that she can claim duress later on down the road. But this could be the new prenups down the road. Who knows? Maybe this channel will help bring that about. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and let me know what you think about this. Let me know. Do you think this guy was being wrong in the situation? Is he the a-hole, or is he actually handling it the right way? I'd like to hear about it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.